I'm not going back. Sometimes humility will take you so much further than pride.
Yeah. That's different.
Do I want to curse somebody out? Many times. When I got on TV, it was, look, I don't want to be a main character. I don't want y'all my business who I'm dating. Now, that's different now. But I know that I got to still be able to walk into these labels. Or I still got to be able to walk into this bank. So what I want to do, I can't always do.
Yeah.
You see somebody that's constantly battling like, I just want,
I can imagine.
but I can't because I understand the brand. I understand that I signed up. This is not just about me. And there are people that treated me bad. There's one particular man that treated me so bad in this business. And when I tell you, people looking at him crazy, all type of things, teeth falling out in interviews, all kind of things happening to this man. There's something wrong with you as a person. Yeah. I've never been the smartest girl in the room, not the prettiest girl in the room, but what I will do is I will outwork anybody. I want to be the person that they say, like, no matter where she went, she took us with her. Yeah. I want to be that person that they look back and say, she changed my life. I'm not going back and I'm going to take you with me.
Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for my sister, my Harlem sister, Miss Yandy Smith-Harris. Wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant, or a small business owner who has a story and wants to learn how to create multiple streams of income from your story, I need you to text me right now, my book, to 646-687-4152. That is my personal number. I have been an author for over 12 years. I've written 10 books. 4 of them have been bestsellers, and I've sold over 100,000 books. But I've also helped a lot of my clients take their expertise and put it into a story, then create multiple streams of income from that. So I want to help you do the same thing. So text my book to 646-687-4152. All right, let's go back to the video. All right, so welcome to another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Today, Inside the Vault, we're sitting with one of the most influential women in entertainment, a true boss who went from managing hip-hop legends to becoming one herself. You've seen her on your screen for years, not just as a reality TV star, but as a businesswoman, activist, and cultural architect. She worked with LL Cool J, 50 Cent, Missy Elliott, Busta Rhymes, amongst others. She's helped create the Love and Hip Hop franchise. She's built brands, produced films, founded nonprofits, and continues to lead from the front lines of social justice, from music to motherhood, from boardroom to the block. She's mastered the art of turning passion into purpose and purpose into profit. Family, faith, freedom, finance. We're unlocking the vault with the incredible Yandy Smith-Harris. And trust me, this one is going to be powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, round of applause for my sister, my Harlem sister, Miss Yandy Smith-Harris. I appreciate this so much.
That was awesome.
Nah, thank you. That
was great.
And
that's me. You're talking about me.
Look, I love this. I love this so much, right? Because as a fellow Harlemite, I grew up in the projects. You grew up in the projects. We're really not supposed to be here where we are, and at the level in which we are, right? So sometimes I still think of myself as the kid from St. Nicholas Projects who hung out on 8th Avenue. Like sometimes I forget like that I'm Ash Cash. Like Ash Cash is this guy that has impacted millions of lives, but sometimes I still remember the kid who lived on 24/6. And so to see who you are and to see all of you have done, you are a legend, a business legend. Like forget being from Harlem and from the project, but you done so much. And so it's my honor. Like, I thank you so much for just even being here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes.
And what I think about people like us, We are those. I am that little girl from 550 Grand Project, right across from El Porto, the 24-hour seafood spot. That is who we are, and those are the things that really gave us the groundwork and the foundation to who we were to become. I had to see the heroin addicts right on 125th Street. Remember that area that was like the Triangle area, right across from 75. Those buildings, 3150.
Yep.
And you would just see them nodding out. You would see them nodding out right in front of the church. I had to see that because that made me never want to try drugs. Right? I had to see my father go through that period of right before rehab and see him doing the things that he did. Because I said, I never want to even test it. I've never even smoked weed because I saw it in my house and I know what the highway drugs led to. So we are those people. And I think those are the things that we can never, unground ourselves because that's who made us who we are. We don't want to go back. We're not willing to do certain things. We're not willing to compromise certain things because we know there's a very thin line between being where we are and we could be right back where we've been.
1,000%. What type of mindset is that though? That's necessary for that, because you and I know though. So it's funny. Same thing, right? Like, I saw so much growing up in Harlem at an early age. Like I saw my first dead body at 12. Right? I remember the shootouts and the drug dealers. Like I remember all that stuff. So I was like, I'm gonna play ball and I'm gonna do something different. But there are people from our neighborhood or even worldwide who still have access and they still kind of jump into that. Like what made you have the mindset that says, no, I'm gonna go the opposite way?
I remember I never saw a dead body young, but I remember seeing one of my parents' friends think that they can fly. Back when I was younger, dust was a really big thing. And my parents did a stint of that. And I remember them screaming and yelling at him trying to fly and jump out the window. And I remember thinking I was old enough to know that just drugs was not going to be something that I was willing to do. And I think having the mindset of I can't go back has been what's really pushed me to go the extra mile. When some people like, I'm tired, I'm going to sleep, or, I've worked for the past 5 hours on this business, I'm laying down. I'm like, I got to work 8 because I can't go back. I cannot go back. And again, I think when you're in entertainment, and this, you are one scandal away.
1,000%.
You are one rumor away. You are one lie away from everything coming down. Hence the reason it was important for me to build a multi-layered business, right? I needed to have products. I needed to have a service that I can sell. I wanted to create something as far as in entertainment that would have longevity. So these things were because I live by the model of I cannot go back. And I can't go back. And I got to make sure in order for me to stay here, I got to bring people with me, right? Because that's going to be my cushion. If I'm up here by myself, any given moment, it might be somebody with me that's going to take me down. But if I'm bringing people with me, that is cushion. We all cushioning each other. I got your back, you got my back, I got your front, you got my front. And we surrounding each other and we're a force because we in this together. So when you see me, you're going to see some other people from Harlem that went through it with me. You're going to see some other people that been on the grind because that's my cushion. And I'm theirs.
Let's go to the beginning. We'll go, Violator management, right? You working with some of the biggest names in hip hop. I mentioned LL, 50, Busta. What were those early years like? And what did it teach you about business and the entertainment game?
So when I graduated Howard, I thought that I was going to get into fashion merchandise. I actually got a scholarship from the Gap's corporate office. I interned all through college with the Gap. And my senior year of school, I just wanted something different. I got offered a full-time job by the Gap to be in their corporate office in San Francisco. And I just felt like I wanted something different. I got an internship with Mona Scott Young. And that is kind of where my entertainment career started. I thought I was going to go to law school. I said, you know what? I don't want to get into fashion merchandise. I want to go to law school and I want to do entertainment law. So I applied for an internship at Violator. I got the job with a whole lot of begging because they weren't hiring. I met Mona and I was like, I can clean your office. I can do whatever it is that needs to be done, I can do. You need me to clean your office? You need me to deliver your packages? You need me to get your coffee? Just get me in the door. So when I got in the door, that's exactly what I was doing. I was her assistant's intern. So I was cleaning offices, I was organizing paperwork, and this is with a college degree. I graduated from Howard University with honors.
Wow.
But I was cleaning offices, I was organizing CDs, I was filing paperwork, because I knew that once I got my foot in the door that I was going to be able to use that as a stepping stone for something greater. My intention was to learn the business. My intention was to kind of understand contracts and all of that. I wound up doing, like I said, cleaning offices, organizing CDs. After a while, I think Mona recognized my work ethic. If we had to be to work at 10, I was there at 9. If everyone was leaving at 7, I was leaving at 10 with her. And a lot of times it was her and I in the office late night because everybody went home and I'm helping her doing whatever she needed to be done. Then finally, when she went on tour, this is right when I just took the LSAT, got accepted to law school. And it was, I'm getting ready to go on this South Asian tour with Missy. You can come on this tour with us or you can, quit and go to law school, whichever you want to do. And I remember talking to my mom. I remember talking to my grandmother, and they were like, "Absolutely not. You going to school? That's it. Law school. That's what are you talking about? What are you even asking us?" And at that time, at Violator, I might have been making $100 a week. That was the pay, and I was there from 9 in the morning, sometimes to 10, 11 o'clock at night, making $100 a week.
Wow.
And I chose to go on tour with Missy. And the only person my father was like, whatever you're going to do, you're going to be great at. He was like, I believe in you. Go on tour. My mother was like, she's still like, when you going to law school? When you going to get a real job? To this day, my mother say, when you going to get a real job? But I remember feeling like I'm going on tour and I'm going to be the best damn tour manager, assistant, or whatever the title was. I was going to be the best at it. And that was the real start of my stint in entertainment, because you would have thought, if anybody asked me, hey, who are you? You're with Missy. I'm Missy's manager. You couldn't tell me I was the manager's assistant intern. Nothing. I'm Missy's manager. And I literally manifested this life because in my head, I felt like, all right, I'm going to make sure these dancers are on par. I'm going to make sure the front of the house engineer is right. I'm going to make sure the back of the house engineer. I'm going to make sure this magic trick work. I'm going to fully engulf myself in every aspect of Missy's tour so that they feel like they can't live without me.
Wow.
And that's what happened. After that, I went on every tour with Missy, and I kind of became Missy's like right hand. I was Mona's right hand for sure. I mean, literally, when she was giving birth to her baby, I was in there working. Like, okay, let me make sure the office is right. Let me do this. Let me do that. Because I wanted to make her feel like this cannot operate without me. I wanted to be that important, and that's how I took my job with her.
Where did that come from? That was that innately in you? Like you just had that hustle in you?
I didn't want to go back.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go back. When I graduated from Howard, there was a little bit of time that I went home because I didn't take my job at the Gap. So I went back home. At this time, we weren't in a project anymore. We were living in a 1-bedroom apartment in Gun Hill Road in the Bronx. And I experienced the life of luxury. Every time I went to the office in San Francisco at the Gap where I interned, I stayed with this Black woman. Her name was Tony. And Tony Wilson, she lived on the top of the hill in Brisbane. It's a very affluent area in San Francisco. She had a big house. She was director of human resources for the Gap, a Black woman. And I remember she had white carpet. In the middle of her white carpet, she had a piano. And for me, right, coming from the projects, I never saw a Black woman that just had won so much land, owned so much. And I asked, I said, do you play the piano? She was like, no. She was like, I just have a grand piano here because it's just, that's what people do. They have that in their house and they got money. I remember her daughter turned 15. She bought her daughter a car. She bought her daughter the newest, buggies was just coming out. She bought her the newest buggy at 15. And I was just like, my God. I was like, I can't wait to, be able to do this for my child. But I always said, if I ever get money, I'm going to have white floors and I'm going to put a piano because that's what people with money do. Ever since I had my first crib that I bought, I had white floors and I had a piano. To this day, I got marble white floors with a piano. Do I have marble white floors with a piano? You ever see anybody play that piano in my house? Nobody played the piano because that's what you do when you get money. But that opened my eyes to that I can do this. Like I can live like this too. And I felt like if I grind, she gave back. Like I said, they hired me to be an intern and I didn't have anywhere to stay in California. The human resource director said she could stay with me. She gave me an opportunity that she didn't have to afford me. She didn't have to let me live with her. She didn't know who I was, this little Black girl from Harlem, the Bronx. She put me in her house with her daughter. She was a single mom and showed me a life that I am forever grateful for because it opened my eyes to what I could have and what I could be. And it also gave me the mind frame, I cannot go back. And that's how I felt. I'm not going back. So Violator, I didn't care if I was scrubbing floors, if I was cleaning up, if I was running to get Mona salad, running to take, whatever I had to do. If I had to take urine samples to the doctor, I was going to do it. Because I can't go back. And that was kind of the motto for me. And then talk about like your, where did your career go from starting as the manager, but the assistant, intern? You know what? At Violator, one thing, we never really had titles. So I could be on the road with Missy. I could be on the road with 50 and the Get Rich Dying tour. And I was still just Yandy. It wasn't like you're a junior manager or you're manager this, that. So I never really had a title there. I met Jim Jones on a private jet. Russell was doing this Black to Vote, like getting young people registered to vote with Dr. Ben Chavis. And they invited me as a young person that was kind of in the business. And I remember meeting Jim on the plane. And he was the person that I sat next to on the plane. And he's telling me, like, yeah, you know, I at this time, he was like, I run the Diplomats. I got this group. And of course, I'd heard of the Diplomats, but at that time, I really only knew Kim and I knew Jewels. I never knew who Jim was. So he's telling me about what he does. And he's like, I'm behind the scenes. He hadn't dropped an album yet. And he's like, yeah, but you know, I'm trying to put out this album. I've been working. And I was like, well, let me know if you need any help. I was like, I'm at Violator. And I was like, I got tons of contact, tons of resources. So let me know. Not knowing that he would start calling me every day. Hey, I want to do this documentary about me making this album. Hey, I want to do this. Hey, can you give me some shows? Yeah. And right across from my desk was Mike Lighty at the time. And I'm like, Mike, listen. And I'm sneaking. I'm like, look, I met this guy, Jim Jones. If you give me some shows for Jimmy, I got you. I'm going to give you some money on the backhand side. Now, he's Chris Lighty's younger brother, but everybody hustles up there, right? Chris was like, you going to make your own money, Mike. I'm going to give you this job. You're going to do booking for the Violator artists. But you know, so I'm like, I'm going to get you some money, get Jim some shows, and I'm also try to get you Jewels and Cam, get us some shows, and I'm going to give you some money on the side. He like, all right. I'm like, we going to make some bread. Now, mind you, I graduated from $100 a week, and I was making a little, I'm making $25,000 a year, $30,000 a year, who knows, but it wasn't that much. And then, you know, Jim was like, I want to put out this album, so he got to deal with Koch, and we started working on My Way to Church, and that album came out and Mike was getting us some shows. So we started getting some shows. I think at that time it might have been like 5,000. So I'm taking my little $1,000 commission and I'm giving Mike, you know, 500. So I'm getting 500, he getting 500. And we just started moving. And then Jim started getting booked more. Then he's like, I want to do the documentary. And I'm pitching the Koch. Let's do this documentary. We get a check for 150,000. And I'm like, yo, I just might shoot this documentary for you for 10,000. Let's bust this money down. Well, he was like, all right, we bust that money down because I found somebody to do it for cheap. And it was constant, like, just us making money. We were making a lot of money, but it was really because we were able to find ways to get things done. Like, all right, we're going to give y'all $800,000 to make this album. Jim, I know we can make this album for $50,000. We're going to build this. I got this building. Let's put the studio, let's put the Pro Tools and everything in this building, and we're going to record the order. We're not going to Right Track and all these other studios. We're not going to Quad. We're going to do our own album in this little, we're going to rent it. We're going to rent it for this amount of month, and you're going to do it right here. And then we was able to, you know, take that money and just bust it down. So when we made that next album, I used like all the producers that I had from Violator. So Zucon, he did We Fly High for me. He did a bunch of records. And I used a lot of the connections that I had from Violator. Then I got caught. Because I was kind of like doing the management thing on the side because I had, you know, Missy and I was working with Mona and all the people at Violator. I got caught. Once Jim started really popping, I got caught that I was the one behind the scenes doing all the work. And Mona's like, listen, you could have Jim come into the fold of Violator, but you can't do this and that. And she's like, you know, you want to sink or swim. And at that time, we had everybody popping at Violator. I mean, 50 was going crazy. Busta was going crazy. Missy was going crazy. Everybody at Violator was popping at this time. And I remember going back to my desk like, I'm going to swim. I got to swim. And I told Mona like, you know, I'm going to go. I'm going to work with Jim. And I think she was in shock. Like I was in shock. I couldn't believe those words came out of my mouth. And I remember just crying and leaving. And I'm like, Jim, listen, I quit today. We really got to do our thing with this. And that was really the start of Yandy in entertainment. As her own boss, as her own person. Literally 3 weeks later, we got a job at Atlantic Records in A&R administration. Jim was A&R. I was doing A&R administration. So we had our offices up there. And I just ran my management business through that office. And that was the start. And then so in hindsight, was that a good decision? It was a great decision. It was an amazing decision. Being on my own, and it was really, if I don't hustle, I don't eat. And I really learned like, okay, Yandy, you got bills. At that time, I was still living in a 1-bedroom apartment with my mother. I moved back and I was like, my mother been taking care of me her whole life. And I was like, nah, it's my turn.
Yeah.
It's my turn. So I assumed the bills in the house. And I was like, I got to work so I can make sure that I can continue to pay these bills and do the things that I need to do. So I just hustled. I hustled. And then finally, I was able to buy a place. I was young. I might have been like 24. And I bought a condo. And then I had to pay bills. I had to get the condo built out. I had to do things. So I had to make sure I was constantly finding opportunities for Jim because I knew my income was directly connected to his. The salary from Atlantic was nothing, but my real money was that. And then I remember pitching. I think it was Converse. We did this Converse commercial. And I pitched to Converse because I'm like, Jim, he's like, even though he's East Coast in Harlem, I'm like, there's something real West Coast about him. He rep his flag and was doing all this stuff. So I was able to lock in this deal. My first major deal, I locked in this deal with Converse. And Jim had this idea that he wanted to go walk down the blocks of Harlem and end at, was it Kingdom? It was either Kingdom Basketball Park or Rucker Basketball Park. And that's where the big Converse celebration would happen. We pitched the idea. They loved it. And they gave us a check. That was like my first, I pitched this deal. It happened. It was like a $65,000 check. Nice. And I was like, oh, just from my pitching and my ideas, I can make $65,000.
Yeah.
So it was after that, I was on like cloud nine. Like I'm her.
Yeah, yeah.
And I just started like cold calling companies, and then it would be so many opportunities that would come. We had this record balling. And then I'm like, he got the hottest song. Then we did the ringtone deals. We had the #1 ringtone. And everything just kept rolling, and it was all kind of. Then MTV loved him, BET loved him. So he's hosting 106 in Park. He's hosting MTV Spring Bling. And it just completely took off from there. And then I started working with Jewels, and Jewels was like the golden child, right? Like he got his record with Chris Brown, and he had all this stuff going on. So it was like, this is it. Money was no object for me. And I was getting a good percentage. And then I was also, anything that I brought to the table, it was like, we're going to bust that down. What we going to do? Because it wasn't like 20% wasn't enough. It was like, yo, I just got you 65,000. You would have been zero.
Yeah.
I'm going to get half of that.
Yeah.
How we doing this?
Yeah.
And he understood the program,
yeah,
right? And I just made a lot of money, really young.
Yeah, no, I love it. What was it one and done? Did you get any residuals from any of that stuff, or?
So when you're independent, like Jim was on an independent label, I never saw any back end royalties. I think one of the albums he made me an executive producer of the album. I never saw checks on the back end, but we just was hustlers. So it'd be like, yo, you want to put out a Christmas album? Yeah. We need to go buy this. Let's tell them we're gonna pitch a Christmas album. We'll pitch a Christmas album. All right, we got $200,000 for your Christmas album. You already know we're gonna bust this. We're gonna make this album for $12,000. So we're gonna bust down the other half. So we would just find ways to get checks. We're gonna do a Christmas album. We're gonna do this. This person's album. That person. He had a whole bunch of artists that was signed to him at the time, and we'd be like, all right, let's do a Bird Gang album.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this album. And we would just bust down the money.
Yeah. I love it. You were named one of Billboard's top 30 executives under 30. And so before the fame, before the TV, what do you think sets you apart? Like that early, like you know.
I think just being really innovative and taking something that I think the Diplomats was a brand that exists already, but being able to curate Jim Jones as his own business and his own force. I think people looked at it as that was my brainchild, because I was so closely connected to the movement. And then we were able to do a 50-50 joint venture deal with Columbia Records, which had never been done for a rap artist. And that was a deal that, my attorneys and myself with Jim, we did it on our own. So they thought that was a really big deal. And it was a really big deal. So it was worth a lot of money. And I think Billboard recognized that to be something that was great. And we, like I said, back then, ringtones were just coming out. We were the #1 ringtone artist. We did a lot of things as the first to do it. Jim was in GQ magazine as a hip hop artist. A lot of that was just my marketing efforts to make sure like he was not just a rapper. I wanted him to really be a household name outside of the rapping that he was doing.
Yeah. And then now full circle, right? You start to build this Love and Hip Hop franchise, right? Which is working with Mona again. Talk a little bit about that.
Yep. So I met an executive from VH1. His name was Jim Ackerman. And he told me that he was he was head of development. And I was like, okay. At that time, again, I was working really closely with Jim and his family. And I felt like this family is something else. They need to be on TV. So I pitched the show to him. And Jim and I went up to the office. I put a camera on Jim, had my friend Yolanda Gerald shoot Jim behind the scenes on tour. And we put something together. And I remember Jim Akron was like, this is good. This is good. But you guys got to develop it a bit more. I think Jim's an interesting character. I think his family is interesting. But I want this developed a bit more. And he gave me these two producers, Toby and Stefan, and said, I want them to come on board and really help you curate a story around Jim. At this time, we started shooting. Then everything, all tragedy struck at home. Stack Bundles was murdered. God bless his family. And then Max B got sentenced to 75 years in prison. And those were like people that Jim was really developing. He really believed in those two the most of anyone. So, when you're shooting a reality show, and they're like, okay, on the way to the funeral, I want to have this one in the front seat. I want to have and he's like, no, this is my real life. Right. He got into it with the producers really, really bad, kicked them out his house, and basically was like, F you in this show. I'm not doing it. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these people done gave me all this money to get this show together. We done been shooting this show now for a year and a half, trying to figure out what the development of this show looks like. And I remember thinking I was going to lose this deal. So I went to Mona and I'm like, Mona, please help me. I was like, I don't know what to do. My client doesn't want to shoot anymore. These people done gave me this money. And at the time she was pitching a show and she's like, well, how about, we go in and we pitch this idea. I got this, the women of hip hop. We can turn Jim and Chrissy as the main family. And I'm like, whatever, I don't care. Whatever we could do, I don't want to lose this deal. Yeah. And she was able to bring on like Mashonda and Emily B. And she had a couple other women that wound up not being in the full run of the show once it came out. But we put it together. And that's what turned into Love and Hip Hop. And now, 16 years later, there is still a Love and Hip Hop.
And different franchises.
Different cities, different characters. We've been able to employ hundreds of people throughout the nation. And it's a pretty big deal still. Yeah. But it came from this little idea that started with me pitching my client to an executive at VH1. And I think one thing that's super important is, one, you got to make sure you maintain relationships in this business. Sometimes people get so big and they think, oh, let me issue on this person over here, or I don't need you no more because now I'm doing this. I never wanted to ruin my relationship with Mona. Even when I moved on and decided that I wanted to swim, I never felt like I was bigger than the program. I learned everything from her.
For sure.
I learned how to be in meetings. I learned how to conduct myself. I learned how to carry myself as a woman in this business from her. So when it was time for me to go back, I was able to call her and say, look, I need help. And then it came around when she had to call me, she needed help. Right. And that's how you got to be in this business with relationships. And then the other thing is you got to make sure that you are maintaining integrity in this business. And when I say that, when you're maintaining relationships and you're maintaining integrity, nobody could never come to you and say, you didn't deserve to be there. Nobody could take away from you what you did because you did that. And you had integrity when you did it. So no matter who likes to come up and down and be like, I did this with Love and Hip Hop. I was the one, I made it. So sure, take it. But I'm still here and I'm still standing. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes you just got to be humble with it. You got to have integrity. You got to be humble. You got to maintain relationships.
And I was going to ask. I mean, I wasn't going to ask, but the thought came to my head because, again, I know you personally, so I know, you've done a lot of, you've done and are doing a lot of, legendary things, but they seem normal to you. They seem like, I started loving hip hop, or I helped Jim, because, obviously I'm a Dipset fan, I'm a Cameron fan, and so for me, I've always loved Jim's transition because. I knew, you know what I'm saying? When I'm a Cam fan, I'm SDE Cam, you know what I'm saying? And so, I'm looking at Cam and I knew Jim as the hype man, as the, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't like a rapper. And then to kind of see him become a star is wait, where did this come from? And I don't think, and even to this day, the fact that he's still relevant. And I'm like, man, it's a major thing. You know what I'm saying? Being able to have an idea that's running on television, run 16 years like that. Where does your humility come from? Like, do you realize that you've done legendary things, or do you look at yourself as like, I haven't done anything yet?
I look at myself as I feel like God gave me a purpose. I never wanted to be on TV. I never wanted to be famous, but I've always wanted to have impact.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to have a voice. And I think God said the only way you're going to be able to have a voice is that you also have to have this too. And that too was, you're going to have to get on TV.
Yeah.
You're going to have to speak. You're going to have to use your platform in this way. If I could have stayed behind the scenes and just been quiet, I would have loved to do that. But I knew that I wanted to be impactful. Yeah. So whether it was impacting Missy's life, I wanted to be her greatest supporter. I wanted to be, if I had to hold her bags, or Missy tells a story about how she was shooting something on the beach. I think it was like a video. I was carrying Mona's baby because she had a new baby. I was carrying the suitcase. I was carrying Missy's thing, and I'm like running behind them, and I was happy.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I'm impactful because they're able to do what they do. Yeah. I see a beautiful vision of what's happening with the video shoot. Yeah. And I'm assisting. Yeah. I'm helping, and I was fine with that. Yeah. And then even when I met Jim on that jet with Russell, I felt like whatever you need, just hit me up. And then when the documentary came out, and I was able to see my name in the credits, and I was like, wow, he's not even an artist, but I was able to put a documentary together, and he didn't have to pay for it. We got him a check to do it. Again, I felt like, wow, that was amazing. When, this show was able to bless so many women and give them voices, like Olivia was behind the scenes of G Unit, Emily B behind Fab, and Chrissy behind Jim, and all these women now had a voice. Yeah. I was so excited to see their voices be heard, and that was fulfilling to me. Yeah. And then when it came, I didn't try to be on the show. I was fine with being a producer. When Mona said to me, like, we need something else. We need someone we need someone that's been in this business, that got the stripes on their own, not connected to a man, and looked at me and said, I think you can do it. And I was like, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. And then it was my manager at the time, and people in my ear like, you can do this. You can do this. Then it was really God that said, I'm giving you this platform so that you can have a bigger voice, so that you can walk into a purpose that's bigger than you. Yeah. And, throughout the years, the show has changed and it's become different things. Mm-hmm. But mainly for me, my role has been, let me do and show something different. Yeah. I'm not perfect. Mm-hmm. I've never claimed to be perfect, but I wanted to be different than what was there. Yeah. And I wanted to show something different for my community. Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And so reality TV, like it could make or break your reputation. Oh God, right? Yes. And you if I hear you correctly, like, your relationships have really like helped you in where you are right now. How have you managed to use reality TV, like the platform, to build your businesses instead of being like boxed in? Oh my gosh. Weekly, I understood the numbers. We get like 4 million people that watch us weekly. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There's no commercial. Procter & Gamble could pay for a commercial that's going to run once or maybe twice a day. Yeah. And you might not have people tuned in because when the commercials come, it's let me go to the bathroom, let me go cook dinner, let me go finish with the kids, and I'm going to come back to see the show. Mm-hmm. So I understood from the very beginning when I got on TV, it was, look, I don't want to be a main character. Mm-hmm. I don't want y'all my business who I'm dating. Now, that's different now. Mm-hmm. I just want to come on the show as a manager, and I'm going to show my business. I'm going to show me as a manager. Yeah. That is it. Yeah. I'm going to show me getting money. That is it. And I realized, like, the very first episode, I said, if y'all want me on the show, my very first episode was me. I had an accessories line. Mm-hmm. It was me hosting an event, showing all my accessories. Yeah. The name of my accessories line was on TV. The website where to get it was on TV. And I think it was like Kim Bella and Chrissy going back and forth, but it was my event. Yeah. Because for me, it was every single time you see me, you're going to see me doing business. Right. That's it. I'm not getting into none of that other stuff y'all want to talk about. We're going to see Yandy doing business. Yeah. And I felt like this is a commercial. I have a live commercial every single Monday for me to sell something. Yeah. And then I realized after that, wait a minute. Once my first season was over, I said, wait, people, they care about the accessory line. Mm-hmm. They a little bit, but what they really care about is the Yandy brand. Mm. So I said, all right, Yandy, you gotta get it together. Now you gotta become a brand yourself. Mm. So that's when I started the magazine, the Everything Girls Love magazine, and it was all lifestyle. It was, hustlepreneur section, a love and marriage section, a business section. But the head of it was Yandy. Yeah. And we really started to build out the Yandy brand because I felt like that's a brand within itself. Mm-hmm. Then I got pregnant. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, now the brand is the family. Yeah. right? And I had to beg my husband to come on TV because he was like, you know him.
Yeah, for sure.
He's like, I'm not no TV dude. I'm not getting on no TV. And I'm like, listen, if you don't come on TV, they're going to think I'm pregnant by Jim.
Right.
You better get on this TV show because they ain't never seen me connected to a man. You coming on this show. Right. He like, all right, I'm going to do 2 episodes. That's it.
Yeah.
15 years later.
Right.
So that's kind of, that was important for me to realize like the brand was monetizable.
Yeah.
And I had to make sure that I also, not only did I want to be a right for my community and the things that I was talking about and the things I was doing, but I also recognized that this is a brand that I have to sell, whether it's speaking engagements, whether it's, when my skin was troubled, let me create a skincare line so they could see how it went from trouble to like this. Mm-hmm. If it's hair, I wasn't wearing weave in the beginning. Now I'm wearing weave. Let me show why I'm wearing weave. Let me start a hair care line. Mm-hmm. Everything became a brand for me because it was so much marketability with all those people that were tuned in every week.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So talk about the brands, right? So Yele Skincare, EG.
So I tell you.
So you know I'm Haitian.
I know. Everybody that's Haitian says Yele.
Yeah, I say Yele because like it's really like yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Yell.
It's Yell.
Okay, yeah.
And the reason why it's Yell, which many people don't know, is it's an exclusive for you. Mm-hmm. My real name is Yandy Yell. So the brand is a part of me. It was created because at the time I went through some really, really stressful moments. And one thing about stress is that the effects of stress shows on your skin. Yeah. So I had dark spots that wouldn't go away. I had hyperpigmentation. I was dry and my nose was peeling. Then I was oily. And at that time, I had a new baby. DC had just got sentenced to 8 years in prison. And everything about stress showed on my face. And I was like, I have to do something. I went to a local chain store to go purchase some stuff because I was like, these dark circles around my eyes, this rash here, this dark spots here. And everything that they threw in the basket all together came out to almost $500. And I was like, there's no way the average woman could spend $500 a month on 30-day supply of skincare. So I felt like there was a white space. And then also, as I looked through the aisles, I didn't see myself represented. I saw no representation of Black young women. So I said, I'm going to create a line that's going to directly address the issues of stressed skin. I wanted it to be all natural, plant-based, and I wanted representation to be at the forefront of this line. So that was the birthplace of Yandy. Well, not Yandy Yell. That was the birthplace of Yell. And then because it was really close to me and what I was dealing with, I called it Yell.
Yeah, it's funny because every time I see it, again, I think Yele. How do you choose, right? So like with all of the different brands, how you decide like what ideas that you're gonna execute on? Which one are you gonna leave them behind? Because again, like right, you got Yale Skincare, EGL, Puds.
Puds.
Okay,
yeah.
EGL Puds. And these are all like, what was it?
The restaurants,
right? The restaurants, yeah. Like, yeah. How do you know what you're gonna execute on?
So I'll tell you, 80% of the businesses I come up with fail. That's one. Okay. They fail. I try it and it doesn't work. Yeah. Like I told you, I started out with an accessories line. You see the whole first season of Love and Hip Hop. I'm talking about this accessory line called EGL. It failed because I couldn't focus as much. The product got too expensive to create. And then once I realized that Yandy became a brand, I wanted to give back. And that's when EGL Pud started. And that stands for Partners Uplifting Our Daughters and Sons. Okay. Pud, I used to call my friends on the show, hey Pud. So that became a big thing. Everybody would be like, hey Pud. And it was Yandy's thing. So that's where the name Pud came from. And Puds is still around. Pud goes into high schools, goes into colleges. Jamila T. Davis is running Puds for me, and she's doing so much for the youth all over, from Georgia to New York to Newark, all over. And every single transition, there's been different things that worked and that didn't work. The companies that you see that are still around are companies that happen to work. Yeah. You know, the restaurants, we have Cliche, we had Dancing Crepe. Yell is now in Bloomingdale.
Yeah, that's big. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Love and Hip Hop is still, it not working on VH1, now it's on MTV. Things transition and things move. And I think one thing that has been good for me is that I've been able to pivot. So what you guys see are the successful businesses, but there's been tons of money spent on businesses that have just not worked. Yeah. Right? I've been in studios thinking I want to be an artist. You don't hear nothing about that no more.
Yeah.
You don't hear nothing about that. I had a clothing line, Smitten by YS. You don't hear nothing about that. Some of you may remember EGL, the accessories line. I've started so many different businesses.
Yeah.
They just did not work.
Yeah.
And that's another thing for entrepreneurs out there. Sometimes you'll have businesses that just don't work, and you have to figure out how to pivot. Love and Hip Hop, when it was called Keep Up with the Joneses, it did not work.
Yeah.
Jim said he did not want to do it. And I did not give up. I just pivoted.
Yeah.
Right? I went and asked for help, found someone to come on board and help me. And it turned into Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
So sometimes in business, right, we make things look so good and you see the success, but there is so much failure, or there is so much lessons that are learned, and then you stick with what works.
Yeah.
But I had to fail to get to what worked.
Yeah. You've also helped somebody very close to you start was it a bug line?
Oh yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
So some of you may see me post about bug out all the time.
Yeah.
And it's a funny story about bug out. So what happened when I lived in Jersey, I would see ants all over my garage, and sometimes they would make it to my front, especially in the spring and in the fall. It would be ants at my front door. And I'm like, man, I don't want to leave Jersey, but I can't take these doggone ants.
Yeah.
My father called me one day and was like, I got something for you. I created something. I'm like, what? He's like, don't worry, I'm going to send it to you. He sends me a manila envelope with white powder in it. I said, Dad, what is this?
Yeah.
You cannot just send something like this in the mail. What are you doing?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, yeah. Now, my father's from Harlem. My father's an old school Harlem hustler. So he like, just put it in front of your door. I put a little this, a little bit of that. And I did a little something. I'm like, first of all, I was like, what is this? So I take the manila envelope. I did what my daddy said to do. I put it in front of the door. I put it in the garage. He like, just leave it. So the next day he called me on the side. He like, go check where you put this bug. Go check. It wasn't called bug out then. It was just a white powder he sent me in the mail. He like, go check. And I look, I'm standing up. I was like, Dad, it's a bunch of dirt. It just attracted a whole bunch of dirt. It's like a pile of black dirt. He like, Yandy, go closer. That ain't no dirt. Pick it up. I pick it up, and it's ants just curled up and like burnt up and dried up. I was like, Dad, what is this? He like, go to the garage, check the garage. I go look at the garage, same thing, a pile. It was like it attracted all the ants that was in my community, and they all just, I don't know if they ate it, I don't know if they all just went there and died, but it was a pile in 24 hours. And then I didn't see ants for months, 7 months.
Wow.
I said, Dad, this is about 6 months. I said, what is it? What I need to package it up and sell it. He like, oh, nah, yeah, this is just for me and my friends. This is what I just made. I'm like, no, Dad.
Yeah.
I said, I'm giving you a logo. I am investing. I was like, I'm going to buy your first set of everything. I was like, I'm putting $5,000 into this business. I was like, I'm going to get the logo done. I'm going to make a website. I'm going to buy the packaging and the content. I'm going to do everything. Please, just get me the product. So I had him come up, and I'm like, I don't know how you're going to get here, but you got to put it in suitcase. Whatever it is that you make, bring it up here to Jersey, and we about to mass produce this. And that's what we did. So we produced it, and I had the labels. We put labels on the bottle. He had the gas mask so he could fill it up and do everything together. The day that we released it, and I did this whole video about it. Now, my father, he's a retired man. At this point, my father probably was making a good, I don't know, maybe $1,200 a month. You know what I'm saying? And that's just that's good for him. He's living in Florida or whatever, so he was fine with that. Got a little house out there. Day one, $4,000. Day two, $6,000. He was like,
oh, Lord.
He was like, oh my God. Oh my God. And this was I want to say this might have been 2019 because it was right before I moved out here.
Yeah.
Baby, we moved out here to Atlanta in 2020. My father was like, I'm buying a new house. I'm coming out there and we're gonna make this even bigger.
Yeah.
So that has my father completely does bug out.
Yeah.
That is his job full time. I'm so proud of him. Got his little warehouse now.
Oh, that's so dope.
He's killing it. He does like special discounts for projects in Harlem. Like his main thing is I want to make sure I service the projects.
Yeah.
So he does his whole presentation for projects in Harlem. Nice. That's his main client. Nice. But he got a bunch of clients all over that. So when you see me promote Bug Out, and I talk about how I was one of the first investors in Bug Out, yes, it is my dad's business that I started for him.
That's dope. No, I love it. And I wanted to bring that up though because I feel like it's a true testament of like what you said for real. Like I use my influence to have more impact, right? So it's not just impacting you, but those around you as well. Yeah. What's your approach to scaling? Because I've watched you again build these businesses like Yale, like you said, it's in Bloomingdale's, like, and you do these these big activations and you're able to like to scale business. You know, when you launch something new, how do you decide when it's time to like turn it into a company and scale it into something bigger?
You know, I think for me, doing market research is very important. Making sure that I stay ahead of what the trend is and stay ahead of the curve. So once that market research is done and I find out like, okay, this can be profitable, I always make sure that there is a particular need and a particular customer that is a part of my network, right? A lot of the people, like for Bug Out, for instance, since we were talking about Bug Out, a lot of the people that follow me are either middle-class homeowners that are in progressive areas, but that are not super duper affluent, and you might not have a pesticide company that comes monthly to just spray your grass down. You make ends meet, you live fairly well, but you do a lot of things yourself as well. So if you could not have to hire a pesticide company to come in for $1,000 a month, maybe you do it yourself and you spend $25 on something that's going to last 6 months. That's an opportunity that I thought many people that follow me would adapt to, because I'm saving you money, but I'm also getting rid of a problem that you have. When it came to Yale, there were so many people that I knew that was stressed, didn't know why they had hyperpigmentation, didn't know why they had dark circles around their eyes. I did market research. I literally put up a post and I said, anybody else out there suffering from dark circles? It was a post with me with tea bags on my eyes. I said, somebody told me tea bags works. Let's see if tea bags work. I had 2,000 comments. Oh, it didn't work for me. Oh, I tried cucumbers. Oh, I tried this. This didn't work. That worked. Try this eye cream. People were engaged with the fact that I said, what helps? My whole reason for doing that was I want to see if anybody else got dark spots. Is it just me? Hey, you know what? My nose is peeling and I got this. Anybody else nose peels out there? Oh, so people saw well before I launched the line, I had people engaged with the fact that Yandy cares about her skin. Yandy cares about the fact that she has dark spots. She's doing something to get rid of them. I got dark spots. I need to get rid of them. Let me follow her because maybe whatever works for her will work for me. And then once I realized that I have a community of people that are wanting more or needing more, that is when I'm like, okay, let me create this. Let me turn this into a business. And then once I'm in that business, how do I make this business grow? And again, even Bloomingdale's, my entry into Bloomingdale's was unconventional. Like I've never been the smartest girl in the room, not the prettiest girl in the room, but what I will do is I will outwork anybody. I went to Bloomingdale's and they had something that they do Atlanta Fashion Week. And I met someone, I think she came to the store and she's like, hey, you know, we do this with Fashion Week. We want your skincare lines to be the backdrop of the fashion shows we're going to have. I'll do it again since you sneeze. I want the skincare line to be the backdrop of our fashion show. I'm like, in Bloomingdale's? Okay.
Let's do it.
So what I had, my birthday was coming up that week. I said, don't buy me nothing. Portia, you coming? Can you do a meet and greet? I got this little spot they let me be the backdrop. Can you host your meet and greet at my little Yale Skin Kitty? Shamia, you coming? Kendi, you coming? Jesse Wu, you coming? Can y'all do a meet and greet? Just host a meet and greet. Put your name, post my flyer. When I tell you that one little booth I had, we made over $30,000 for Bloomingdale's, and I was just supposed to be the backdrop of Atlanta Fashion Week. Bloomingdale's was like, who you? What's this?
Right.
What's going on? We had so many people come out. I had all my friends host their meet and greet. Every single friend that I got in Atlanta, I said, do me a favor. For my birthday, can you post this flyer? And then can you come out and tell your community, your people to come? Everybody came.
Nice. My
little skincare line, they said from that one little thing that I did, that whole entire floor, everything that was surrounding where my Yale booth was, made money. The highest sales for the year for the dress department. The highest sales for the year for this department that was on the other side of me. Then they put me on the floor. They said, let's test you on the floor right here. Killed it again. Killed it again. Then they made me an offer. Like, we want you here. And they made me an offer for the outlet. We want you here too. And the thing about me is I'm not just there. Once a week, I'm spending, not once a week, once a month, I'm spending a week there. I'm in Bloomingdale's for a whole week every day. You want to buy Yale? Even if you didn't want to buy Yale. Yandy said, hey, come on. Hey, let me tell you about Yale. The people that spray the perfume on your hand, that's me. I'm there. And they're like, aren't you the girl from, I am. I'm also the girl from Yale.
Exactly.
Let me tell you about Yale. There's no pride. There's no nothing. I'm here. I work at Bloomingdale. I'm here. You work it? Yes, I do. Once a week, you're gonna see me here. They're like, oh my gosh, it's no pride. This is my business. Nobody's gonna care about my business like I'm gonna care about. Yes, I work at Bloomingdale to sell my product. Yes. And now that we're getting ready to go to this other Chicago and we're gonna go to Miami, I'm gonna be there too once a week. Once a week.
What's that like that like if you were to sum up like your business, like scaling business, your business acumen into like a philosophy. What's that philosophy? Like, what would you call it? Because that's different, you know. And I get it, I understand it. But if I'm, you know, I want those who are watching to be like, all right, this is what I need to do if I need to get.
No one has ever asked me that in my whole life. But what I will say is the mantra that I've been saying: I'm not going back. I'm not going back, and I'm gonna take you with me.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I want to be able to, when I'm at Bloomingdale's, and the reason why I want Yale Skincare to be the highest selling cosmetic brand on the cosmetic floor, I'm representing for other Black women that have cosmetic lines that's going to come behind me. If they let me in, I want to say I might be the only Black founder on the Bloomingdale's floor with an all-natural plant-based skincare line. The only. I got to represent for those that got to come behind me. Yeah. I got to. Well, you know, we had Yandy here. She's the top-selling brand. Why not let Shaniqua in? Why not let Keisha in? Yandy did it. I can't go back. And those that I bring with me, I don't want you to have to go back. When I go back to Grant, I'm going back to Grant because I'm giving stuff away. Right. I'm going back to Grant because I'm pulling people out of Grant. But I don't want to have to move back in. Yeah. I don't want to have to pack up my stuff and be like, come on, Amir, Skylar, Mendici, we going to be back on 17F. We got to go back. Yeah. We got to go back to that rent-stabilized apartment because we ain't got it no more. Yeah. I only want to go back because I want to bring people to have the white floors with the piano in the middle of the floor. For sure. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I can't go back. Yeah. And that's what it is. If I gotta work at Bloomingdale's, in my head is Yale has to be successful. Yeah. Cause I don't want to take Yale off the shelf. I don't want to go back to my basement, housing Yale in the basement. I can't go back. Yeah. It got to stay on this Bloomingdale sports, and I got to be in more Bloomingdale stores. So if I got to work for 5 days out this week, I can't go back to my basement. Yeah. I can't go back to make it in the kitchen. I want to be able to pay for the warehouse. Yeah. I want to be able to continue to have this manufacturer. I don't want to be whipping it myself in the kitchen. I can't go back. So it's so many things that I'm just like, I can't go back. And that's been the mantra that's kept me moving forward. I got to go forward. I can't go back.
Yeah. Yeah. Whew. I don't know if y'all felt that. I felt it. You're a wife, mother, mentor, entrepreneur. How do you intentionally build generational wealth in your household?
I make sure that I give my children the freedom to just be, right? A lot of parents love and depend on the traditional educational system. I always tell my children, don't let school get in the way of your education, right? Because you go to school and they teach you how to be great for someone else. They teach you all the things about the past and the this and the that and how to be an amazing worker. I don't care if you don't get a 90 or 100 on your American Lit. American Lit ain't never helped me make $1. Unless you want to be a doctor, I'm okay if you get a 65 or 70 or 80. I want you to be great. But if you get a 65 or 70 on your earth science class and your passion is not being a doctor, I'm not going to beat you down for it. But what is it that you want to do? Yeah. Because whatever it is that you want to do, you better be great. Yeah. What is it that you're interested in? What is it that you love? You love singing? You're going to go to singing class and you're going to learn a song every night. You're going to practice, then you're going to perform. You want to be an actor? You're going to practice monologues every single week. I want to hear a new monologue. Yeah. Whatever it is that you think you want to do, I want you to be great at that. I'm not going to let school get in the way of your education. I don't necessarily need you to be a great worker for someone else. But what you will learn how to do is you're going to learn how to be great in what you want to do. We're not going to take mediocrity. We're not going to be mediocre in anything that what I hear all the time about my kids, you know, Amir and Skylar, Little Mendici, I see all of them, they are leaders. Like, you know, we had parent teachers the last week. They're like, you know, if Amir's on, the whole class is on. If Amir is focused, the whole class is focused. But when Amir's off, the whole entire class is off. Yeah. You know, we just want Amir to lead the class to do something great. You know, sometimes he comes in and he's silly. He comes in and he's playing. The whole class is going to play if Amir's playing. In my head, I'm like, I know I'm supposed to want to discipline him. And I'm like, but yes, he's a leader.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
And I'm like, so Amir's sitting there and I'm looking at him and I'm like, Amir, so when you hear your teacher say you a leader, what is it that he's like, but sometimes the lessons are just boring. He said, so I feel like I could teach them in a different way. And I'm like,
Yeah. Right.
I'm like, well, I think the part of learning is definitely being, able to express yourself and being able to, lead the masses. And I'm like, I mean, you should lead them in the right way. And he's like, but who's to say that way is right? He was like, these kids. And I'm like, he got in trouble because he was bringing Capri Suns and brownies and all these things to school. He was selling it. He was selling it at lunch. And he was like, nobody wants to eat that school lunch. So I went and I used my allowance and I was bringing stuff here. And he's like, they don't want me to be an entrepreneur. I was making money. He's like, I don't understand. And they're like, yeah, but you can't do that. He's like, but why?
Yeah.
And when the teacher couldn't understand, but why, it was kind of like, he's like, I'm not doing any problem. Nobody likes to eat this. And I'm like, my son's a leader.
Right.
He's a leader. And I was like, if he found a way to make money and also fix a need, what's the problem?
Right.
So again, don't let school get in the way of your education. You can't sell it there, but outside of school, they can't tell you what you can do. As soon as you walk outside those doors, if you want to sit there, you want to sell your stuff, you want to make things, you got pictures he paints, you got this, you want to sell it, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll drive you.
Right.
I'll sit there and wait for you.
Right. Well, what would you say that you're like how are you, like, what financial principles, I would say, what financial principles are you teaching your kids to help, like, prepare them? So entrepreneurship, but what are some other financial principles you may be teaching them?
So all the kids work in the restaurant. They all have to, you have to learn whether it's flipping waffles, if it's greeting tables, if it's the toilet is stopped up. Little Medici hate the toilet stopped up. Little Medici, you manage it for the day. That's a part of it. Yeah, it's part of it. Because if you don't do it, I'm gonna have to do it. Yeah. This is a part of it. So I make sure that I always tell the kids 7 streams of income. Whatever you want to sell your candy at school, cool. What else? What else you doing? I make pictures. I love my pictures. I want to sell them online. Okay, what else? I want to be an ambassador. They all got clothing line deals and ambassadors for this or that. Okay, what else? Yeah. Right? Because I'm like, if you decide that you want to work for somebody, that is fine. Yeah. But you want to make sure that you are the best at whatever that thing is. Yeah. But for right now, you're too young to have a job. Yeah. So you're going to create your own. Little Medici, he just created a line called Middle Class Scum. Everything about that business, are you trademarked? He started promoting. I said, you promoting this thing. I didn't see you go to a trademark attorney yet. Yeah. Guess what his birthday present was for me this year? I paid that $1,500 with the biz lawyer to get him trademarked. That's your gift. You want to be a business owner? Nobody's going to take Middle Class Scum from you. It's amazing. The sweats are dope. The jeans are dope. We took him to China so he could figure out how to do all that stuff. He did it. Now handle the business behind the scenes. Get your trademark in order. Yeah. You need to own that because you popping. Yep. And, I think that we've been able to really impact our children as far as entrepreneurship. Yeah. But for me, it wasn't important that they had to do that. Whatever it is that you want to do, just be great. Be great and do all the things. Don't just put out a line, start wearing it, promoting it, and then somebody come steal it from you. Right. Nope. Do all the behind the scenes work as well. Yeah. And I think that's been important for me with the kids, making sure whatever it is that you want to do, be the best, be great at it, but do the work. Yeah. Do the behind the scene work that's not in front of the camera, that the Instagram is not seeing, that TikTok is not seeing. Do all the things as well. Yeah. How do you balance, right, being a public person on television, your family, I've seen clips of you kind of breaking down, like, yo, leave my family alone, like, right? People are attacking you, attacking your husband, attacking, I don't know if they attack your kids, but I just know, like, when you make yourself public, people don't believe you're a real person, right? And they talk to you all crazy. They say anything. How do you balance that? How do you balance, like, being transparent because you're in the public eye, but then also maintaining sort of like that peace, if you will, for you and your family? What I've realized is that pain is profitable. Pain is so profitable. People love to feel like your train wreck is worse than my train wreck. So it makes me feel better. Networks love to promote a train wreck. They love to promote pain. They love to incite pain because they feel like this is what people are going to buy into. I think as a community, we are hurting. Everybody has been brokenhearted. Everybody has had business that have failed, have children that have gone astray, have had tragedy strike at home, have dealt with family members on drugs, family members being incarcerated, mass incarceration, the government not taking care of you the way they should, and all the things that we deal with. But if I could look at you and feel like, oh, well, her son is worse than my son, I feel better. She got cheated on worse than I got cheated on, I feel better. She cheated worse than he cheated. So all of those things have become profitable. And I think recognizing that it is a money grab,
Mm-hmm.
and also recognizing that if I don't know you personally, I can't take it personal. You don't know my pain.
Yeah.
And although people think they know my story, they know my life, you still know what I decide to tell you.
Right. Yeah.
I let you in on what I want to let you in on.
Yeah.
And y'all might know 40% of me.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the stark reality. Who people say and they complain about, or they praise, or they, have opinion on, you only getting 40% of me.
Yeah.
You're not getting the full me. You really have no idea. You think you know,
Yeah.
but you have no idea.
Yeah.
And I've learned to just be okay with that. But sometimes, again, I'm human and I'm flawed. And if it's a bad day, I might feel like today is not the day that I confront. Today I'm hurting.
Yeah.
Today I'm sad. So you're going to get this real raw emotion because I'm sad today about something that you have no idea about.
Yeah.
And I think one thing with reality TV, as much as you want to be pulled together, or a person like me, I want to come pulled together, because it ain't really, you think it's about me, but it's really about the bigger picture that I'm trying to show and that I'm trying to do, because I understand that I'm a brand.
Sure.
So I try to come into this thinking, the brand, do I want to jump across the table and take this mic and hit somebody across the head? Yes, many times. Sure. Do I want to curse somebody out? Many times. But I know that I got to still be able to walk into these labels, or I still got to be able to walk into this bank if I want to get along. I still got to be able to walk into Bloomingdale's and sit in these executive conferences and these meetings. So what I want to do, I can't always do. Yeah. Right? And that is a lot of who you see. You see somebody that's constantly battling, like, I just want,
I can imagine.
but I can't, because I understand the brand. I understand that I signed up. This is not just about me. I can't be bigger than the program. And the program is the community I got on my back. The program is my mother and my father that I want to make proud. The community is that little girl from Grant that's like, I look up to Yandy. The program is my kids. I want my kids to be proud. I want my kids going to school like, oh yeah, my mother beat this girl up on TV last night. My mother done cursed this girl out, said all kind of crazy things. Nah, I'm disturbing the program, and I can't do that. Yeah. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, no, I love that. Speaking of a community, right? Because you do a lot of, activism. You've been on the front lines with Until Freedom. What sparked that side of your purpose?
Man, what sparked it originally was two things. One thing, when Trayvon Martin was murdered, at the time, Little Men DC only wanted to wear hoodies. We lived in where did we live at this time? I think were we in Fort Lee? We were in either Fort Lee, New Jersey, or we were in Riverdale. But the community in which we lived in, the people didn't look like me or him or his dad. And he only wanted to wear hoodies. And I remember saying to him, like, you cannot, he might have been like 7 or 8. And I'm like, you cannot go be outside. We had a little playground in front of us. So he would like go downstairs and play in front of the little area. And I'm like, you can't wear a hoodie. You can't just put on a collared shirt. Just go. I want to wear a hoodie. And I'm like, you can't. And I remember going to my first rally was a Sean Bell rally when I was in college. But this was the first rally I went to with my family. And I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, Trayvon Martin mom. Like, I just remember seeing her in the news. And then I was like, if I ever get to meet her or stand next to her, I just want to give her a hug. And I remember being so emotional about that situation. So I go to this rally in D.C. We drive to D.C. and I had just got cool with Tamika Mallory. And she's on stage and she's talking, and there's so many like really affluent like social activists on the stage, and they're talking, and they call Sabrina Fulton to the stage. That's Trayvon Martin's mom. And she's talking and she's sharing. And then Tamika says, and I want to call Yandy Smith to the stage. And I'm like, at this time, I'm like, maybe my second or third season on Love and Hip Hop. I'm still shy to this day, but I'm like, I don't talk in front of people, and I definitely don't talk in a political space about anything. And I remember getting on that stage, and I had been thinking, if I ever get next to this woman, I just want to hug her. I just want to, because I cried for days behind that situation. I followed the trial, all the things. And I remember being on that stage and being so nervous, and I just hugged her and just started crying. And then I had to speak, and I remember just saying, like, I'm a mother. And I said, my baby, and Little Miss DC was in the audience. I'm like, all he wants to do is wear hoodies. He had on a hoodie that day. And I'm like, I cannot imagine the grief of something from my womb being stolen from me simply because he had a hoodie on and he was walking through a neighborhood of people that did not look like him. And I said, as a mother, I understand that you were robbed of your joy. And I just remember being on that stage being emotional. And then I'm looking in the crowd and I see other people crying, and I'm like, did I say something?
Yeah.
And people were moved. And I was like, and then when I got off the stage, people were like, your words, like, oh my God. And I'm like, really? And that for me was my seat at the table.
Yeah.
Right? Tamika, she invited me in. But when I actually pulled up my seat by opening my mouth on that stage, I realized that I didn't have to speak like them. I didn't have all of the, they can quote this book and quote this one and quote. I didn't have any of that.
Yeah.
I spoke as a mother. I spoke as a woman with influence that was concerned about the community, that was concerned about other children in her community, about Black people, about Black men, about Black boys. And that was impactful enough. And that for me gave me the green light to try, because I still to this day get really flustered when I got to talk in front of a room full of people. It gave me the green light to just try to use my voice.
Yeah. When you look at the legacy that Yandy Smith-Harris wants to leave, like what is that legacy? What does that look like?
I would love to be known as a person that did not go back, but pull people with her.
Yeah.
I want to be the person that they say, like, no matter where she went, she took us with her.
Yeah.
She carried us. She held us up. She lifted us up. I want to be that person that they look back and say, she changed my life.
Yeah.
I was impacted by her. She opened the door. She pulled the seat up to the table. She built the table and let me sit and let me eat. No boundaries. I want to encourage people, like, you can dream, you can dream big, and you can dream past where you've been from, what you've seen, and you don't have to go back. Keep dreaming, keep living. I think it's so important to build this legacy, but lift as you build. There's no building without lifting. Whether you have to lift the bricks, whether you have to lift the crane, you have to lift as you go when you build. And I think so many of us, we make it to the top, whether it's, men that just got there because somebody put them on and they forget. You don't last up there long. If there are women that got there and you were mean or you were nasty or you slept your way, you don't stay there for long. You got to lift as you go. Yeah. And I think it's been important for me to really lift as I go and bring people with me. My family, I'm going to take them with me. My friends, I'm going to take them with me. My community, as much as I can, I'm going to have them on my back. I'm going to take them with me. And that's the legacy that I would love to live. Like, she took us with her.
Yeah, yeah. How do you deal with, like, betrayal? Like, when you're doing all of this for the people you love and maybe people are jealous or people next to you don't want to see you, successful. Like, they say, like, people poking holes in the boat while y'all, how do you deal with that?
Man, I think this year, I would say, has been the hardest year of betrayal for me. People that I felt like I crawled with, that I walked with, that I wanted to run with and soar with, betrayed me. And it wasn't just a simple betrayal. It was like, I want to bury you. I want to see you suffer. I want to see your family suffer. I want to do everything I could do I'm going to say the worst things about you. I'm going to hurt you in the worst ways. But what I realized is that I'm a seed, right? And when you try to bury me, the growth, it just don't stop.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that, like, I'm planted by God. And no matter what you do, I've sowed seeds. Every step I leave little seeds of who I am and what I do behind. And every single time you try to bury me, you throw dirt, it sprouts. The seed sprouts. Yeah. And for every single person that betrayed or turned against me, they threw dirt and it sprouted. And the success just magnified. Yeah. Every aspect of it, everything they tried to do, it grew. Yeah. Right? This has been one of the hardest years of betrayal, but it's been the most growth for me. My businesses have been more successful. Yeah. The things in the rooms that I'm getting invited to speak my story and talk about has been plenty on overflow. I'm here. I'm here with Ash Cash, right? Yes. So the dirt, it didn't affect anything. Yeah. It grew seeds. Yeah. And I had to take a moment through tears, could hardly see straight because it's hard. Betrayal was hard. Sure. It hurts. But I had to also recognize what God was doing in the process and understand that every harvest that comes, it comes with the breaking of soil. It comes with dirt, and you have to push through something. You have to push through and break through, and that was my breakthrough. Yeah. That was the pushing through of the soil. And the thing is, like I told you, I always want to take everybody with me. Yeah. God did not make the wide road, the road wide for everybody. Mm-hmm. There is a narrow road for those that are going to get to the promised land, and everybody can't come. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So this was the falling off. No matter what people used to do, I would still be like, nah, come on, it's all good. Come on, all right, I forgive you. Come on, it's all good. But it had to be so egregious. Right. It had to be so bad that it was like, nah, son, you can't.
Oprah says, gotta throw little pebbles. If you don't listen, God gonna throw that brick.
Like, boom.
He gonna get that brick, though.
They hit me with a boom, and it's like, you can't come with me no more.
Yeah.
You can't come. You have to stay here, and I have to just keep going. But I don't wish nobody harm. I don't wish nobody any ill, nothing. Yeah. I really pray for those people because I'm a good-hearted person, and I do right by everybody around me. I try to lift everybody. I protect my friends. I stand up for my friends. Yeah. And sometimes when the level of protection isn't the same, people feel like, or they feel like, oh, you did more for this person than you did for me. They feel like, and I can't do everything all the time for everybody. Right. You know. Yeah. And
how is that though? Like from a like, not let's say pressure perspective, but just that, right? Like, you know what I mean? You're a wife, you know what I mean? You're a mother, you're a business owner, you know, like you do all these things and people expect you to be available, right? How do you stay available to Yandy though, right? Because you're still an individual.
Yeah, like, I think that is the problem. I think the problem is when Yandy no longer allows access or is so available, that is when people start to get mad. Yeah. And I think that again, this year I had to show up for me. Yeah. I had to show up for me, and sometimes that meant I can't take you, or you can't come on this trip, or I can't provide this for you. Yeah. And it turned into some things that I was not ready for. Yeah. But I realized it had to happen. Yeah. And every day I'm learning how to show up for me. When you become a mom, everything about you and your life is about your kids. Yeah, for sure. And depending on the type of husband you have, sometimes, you can have a husband that's super needy, or you can have a husband that's be like, go ahead, do you. Like, I support you. Do what you got to do. Mm-hmm. And I think that I'm grateful that I've had a husband that is just kind of like, I support you, and I'm gonna lift you and hold it down while you do what you have to do. Mm-hmm. And I thank God for that. But I think it also gets trying because you forget to take care of your core sometimes. You forget to take care of home base. And that's a whole nother thing, Mm-hmm. And I think this year has been a year of learning so much. And I think it's been super important for me to let go of mommy guilt. Mm-hmm. If I got to be at Bloomingdale's for the week, I got to shoot the show, I got to be at the restaurant. There's a lot of time in the day that I have to spend outside of home. Yeah. And then even if I have the kids come to the restaurant, it's still me in the restaurant doing homework in the restaurant while I'm working with customers, or I'm at Bloomingdale's and I got Skylar here who has to go over her monologue because she loves acting, and I'm doing a monologue with her, but I'm talking to my Bloomingdale's customers. Mm-hmm. You get mommy guilt, you get wife guilt, and really being able to tell yourself you're okay. You're doing the best you can. Yeah. And so often I have to say to myself, Yandy, you are doing the best you can as one person. Yeah. And I have to just be okay with that. There's no balance. There's no 50-50. There's no way that I can do that. Yeah. I just have to prioritize my time, and I have to be okay with there's no balance. Yeah. Well,
what would you say is, or what would you say to, let's say 18-year-old Yandy? Like, let's go back, like with everything you know now, all you've done. If you could have one conversation with 18-year-old Yandy, what would you tell her?
If I could have a conversation with 18-year-old Yandy, I would say there are going to be a lot of no's. There are going to be a lot of not right now. There's going to be a lot of it's for you, but not this way. And I would tell her, it's okay to cry, but get up and keep going, push through, don't give up. I wish early on someone told me the no's were going to come in greater than the yeses. I wish someone would have told me that the failures does not mean stop there. I learned that in my 30s, once I had my first child. That's when it was like, all right, you said no. All right, you don't want to do this. All right, it's not working. But I got to feed this little baby.
Yeah.
If that no at 18 would have hit the pivot, let me pivot, let me do this. I would have been 10 steps ahead of where I am.
Yeah.
Because when I got that no at 18, it was like, woe is me, life is over. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. Took 5 months. I'm not doing that no more. So I failed at that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Then try to fix something else at 20.
Yeah.
Then try to fix something else at 24.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But had I known then that the no's were coming greater than the yeses, but I have to learn how to pivot and push through, I would be so much further in my life and in my career.
Yeah.
And again, sometimes it just means not right now, not like this.
Yeah.
That's what no is short for.
Yeah.
Not right now and not like this.
Mm-hmm.
It does not mean it is not for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I had to learn that because, again, if you just take Love and Hip Hop, it was called Keep It Up with the Joneses. It was a no to keep it up with the Joneses, but it was not a no to the original purpose, which was I want to create something that has longevity, that gives people jobs, and that puts my client on the map.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't want to be put on the map as far as in the front of the camera, but I wanted to be put on the map, my business. It did that and more. It did that and more.
Yeah.
But I had to be told no to Keep It Up with the Joneses. Keeping Up with the Joneses never would have had Yandy on the camera because it was only about that.
Yeah.
But that no turned into this.
Yeah.
But I had to take it, not right now, not like this. There's a bigger plan. And this is the bigger plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go, man. Look, whew, like you're inspirational. I appreciate you. You inspire me a lot. Is there anything that I didn't ask or you want to leave with the audience that you want to, just give our insiders some more words of wisdom?
Let me think. You asked so many things that I've never been asked before. I don't know. I feel like it was good. He asked a great question. This was so good.
Yeah, no, like I
Like when I do interviews, I don't do podcasts, but they always want to ask about business.
Yeah.
And then they'll ask about the show.
Yeah.
And they'll ask about like entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So it was personal. It just was different. So I feel like you touched so many different things.
Yeah, because and that's why I call this like the greatest money mindset show. Because for me, I was a banker for 15 years, and every time I get a chance to speak to somebody who's wealthy, you could tell me about the things that you've done, but everybody do the same things.
Yeah,
it's not really the things that you do. It's really the who. Like it's the. I mean, you think about the whether it's the Quran or the Bible, it's be, do, and have, right?
Yeah.
So people always focus on doing and having, but they don't think about the being.
Yes.
So who do you be? Like,
yes.
who are you?
Who are you?
Right. And so for me, I always want to know, like, I want to know Yandy, like, who is she?
Yeah.
Right. And so if I could, like, sum you up, right? She doesn't want to go back. So she's seeing her who she is in her being is that she's willing to do whatever it takes to always move forward.
Yeah.
Right. She is not easily turned down by no. Like if she can't be stopped. If somebody tells her no, she's gonna keep going. She's gonna figure it out. Right. That's a Harlem thing though. But she's from Harlem, so she's gonna figure it out. You know what I'm saying? And then also, she believes in cooperative economics, in that the people that she's around is important. She'll take on the responsibility of being the boss, if you will, but she don't want to be around other workers though. She want to be around other bosses.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be around her, she's going to give you opportunity, and it's up to you to really take that opportunity and grow yourself as well. And so understanding that, like, all right, this is who she is in her being, it's obviously she's going to do the things based on who she is in her being, and that's how she has what she has. You know what I'm saying? So that's always my goal, is to really just kind of like talk around who somebody is in their being. But my sister, I appreciate you. I thank you so much. Like, this was beautiful. I hope y'all got as much out of this as I got out of it. Because again, as y'all know, my goal is to really just show you, right? And this is why this one was important to me, is because you're watching two kids from the projects who, you're the first millionaire in your family, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So you're watching two multi-millionaires from the projects, though. I'm talking about I grew up, like, your husband will tell you, we grew up, so me and her husband grew up the building right next to each other. I lived on the first floor, and I lived right in the back of the incinerator, which means that when Jay-Z says roaches and rats, like when I used to bring girls over to my house, I had to turn the radio on.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want you to hear the
in the radiator.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So to see, and I share my story freely. Like, we from Harlem, so I don't like talking about money, how much money I got, whatever.
Yeah.
But I do it just so people there's another Ash Cash who got kicked out of school 4 times. I got expelled. I got all this, they try to put me in special ed, all this stuff. And so there's another one right now watching this, and they're like, man, like, I had this same situation.
Yes.
And so same thing for you is there's a lot of girls who grew up the way you grew up, who they need to know how legendary the things that you've done and what you're doing is. And so that's why I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate it too. And I think that it's important, no matter what the success is that I've garnered, or the roads that I've walked, and the people that I've ate with, the rooms that I've been in, there is still something in me that is still that little girl from Grant Projects, 14B and 17F. I live 2 different places. Yeah. There is still that person in me that feels like, I want to be better. I want to do more. I want to be greater. There's that person in me that feels like, I am going to, the same way I'll talk to you, the same way that I will talk to my intern, which is the same way that I would talk to an assistant or the janitor that, cleans up Yale. Yeah. There's no greater personality trait, I feel like, than humility. Because in any given moment, yesterday's interns will be the top executive. Yeah. I don't know if you guys know, even like a Karen Civil. Karen Civil used to be the intern in our office. She then started heading up Dr. Dre's office and working with Dre's Beat by Dre's, and so many different. I was somebody's intern, and there are people that treated me bad. There's one particular man that treated me so bad in this business. And when I tell you, people looking at him crazy, all type of things, teeth falling out in interviews, all kind of things happening to this man. But it's like how you treat people. And when I say, like, relationships are key, because I know for sure there's going to be somebody that's going to come take, if I fall off, and that's my life, there's going to be somebody like, Yandy looked out for me. Let me go get her. But when you have done so much in this business, if you made so much money, and you've had so many people that have been employed by you, and nobody's turning around to help you, nobody's coming to save you, nobody's like, here, let me give you $100,000, get you on your feet. Stop doing these interviews. They're embarrassing you. Nobody's doing that for you. There's something wrong with you as a person. And sometimes humility will take you so much further than pride. Humility will open up doors for you. Humility will make people understand that you are them and they are you, and they want to be in this together with you. And I think for me, that has been so important. And I pray that no matter where I go, no matter how far, I remember in Yandy, the little girl from Grant Projects is always here and always remembers and stay rooted that is me as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I appreciate this interview. I appreciate every time we always talk about Harlem, we joke and we do all the things because it's important to stay rooted. And I think people like you, people like us, we keep each other rooted, right? Because we know where we've come from. And I pray that you keep moving. I pray that all of this is so successful. And I love what you're doing. And you putting so many people on and putting them on your platform. I think it's amazing. I think the last time we spoke was with Nicole Harmon, helping her out with her platform. So thank you again.
My pleasure.
And I appreciate you.
Likewise. If the people wanted to connect with you, where can they find you?
I keep things really simple. The name I get checks in. So it's Yandy Smith Instagram, Yandy Smith Facebook, Yandy Smith TikTok, and all the things.
All right, y'all. We are closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Make sure you follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. Make sure you join the Abundance Community. Go to theabundancecommunity.com, and I will see you same time, same place, in God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.